Saw the money and got activated. Saw that money and got activated. I saw that money and got activated.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So just to get it clear the air and kind of like jump off the bat, this week it just is not my week. There's a bunch of stuff that's been going on lately. It's been kind of putting me down a little bit, but we can be all right. You know, it's all good. But I have been slacking on filming a little bit, and I actually have a whole video filmed right as we speak right now that I haven't even uploaded yet. So I promise I'm gonna stop being a big crybaby and sit on the computer and edit the video and get it up, because there's no excuse. So anyhow, to start out this video, it's a little different. We're going to pick something big up for the shop. It's not expensive, but it's pretty freaking big. Hence the reason why I need a whole van to go pick this thing up. So we're going to go pick that up real quick, and then I'm 95.8% positive that we're going to be heading up to the shop after that, and getting some work done on the first gen and some other stuff. But with that being said, guys, I'll catch up to you guys in a minute. Well, we got our little jumping time, but we got back to the shop and we have our newest purchase. Bam! Look how big this thing is. It's 8 foot by 4 foot. Okay, and then we have this guy over here. What? You got this tiny guy? Bam! Big ass motherfucking board. Anyhow, I know that's not really like. Hopefully I didn't get anybody's hopes up with that. I literally paid $1 for this on the auction. This is probably like a $200 board, or more maybe, but literally nothing wrong with it. Perfectly good board. I don't know if it looks. Here's size comparison to the first gen. I mean, if that tells you anything, first gen looks tiny compared to it. So now we have something to like document stuff. I can actually put all the builds on this board instead of like having to erase everything, you know, per build. So like we can put first gen and then hard body and then the LS swap hard body and then, you know, whatever else we get. Oh, I did just realize that there's a small crack right there, but I'm sorry, $1, you could literally like cut this thing in half and it'd be worth $1 in general. I don't know, but we gotta run and grab some expo markers from the Dollar General right down the road, and it's going to take like 5 minutes, and then as soon as we get back, I'll just show you guys real quick. I didn't film this because, like I said, I've been kind of in a mood, but I don't know how well you guys can see because there's no light right this second. This guy fits in there like a glove. Yeah, there we go. So probably gonna tack weld this in, and then we might have to seal this gap up right here with a piece of metal. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is pretty good right there. So we got that section cut out, and then we still have to do this section up here, but I have to get this panel out first, which I can do that tonight too, because they put a screw way up in the top there where you can't get to it. So we'll have to get that panel out, and then once we get that panel out, we can cut that out. And basically what I did was, I'll show you real quick. Basically what I did was I took the panel, the piece that I cut out, right, and then I just laid it on a piece of steel here and then traced it out and then cut it out. So floor pans are pretty easy to fix. It's not really the end of the world. Honestly, I think that floor pans is probably the best practice for like doing sheet metal work and stuff like that, just because it's a pretty simple thing. But so unfortunately we can't use our brand new welder yet. It's all set up. We got the conversion for the new torch on it, but it is missing the locking nut for the spool wire, unfortunately. So we'll have to figure that out, because there's supposed to be a spacer here and then a nut, and it's missing that. So we'll have to get that ordered. So that sucks. Looks like we'll have to use the old Harbor Freight welder until then. I wasn't gonna be able to use this as a MIG welder anyways, just because I don't have a tank yet. It was gonna have to be as a flux, but I'm sure this welder is probably very noticeably better, even as a flux, than the Harbor Freight welder. The torch itself, just like the quality is just way better. Yeah, it's got a nice curve to it. I don't know, but I mean, we did the rest of this truck with that old flux core welder. Just the welds look like crap with that thing, so maybe I'll try and figure out how to make it not splatter so much, but at least tack that in, maybe see how fast we can get that and fully weld the panel in with this welder. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm gonna get everything set up over here and try to lay some beads down. Alright boys, we're making progress. We pretty much have this panel completely burnt in. We do have to seal up this gap here, which I'm gonna put seam sealer, lay a panel over this, and then weld to that seam right there, just to prevent any water from coming in. And then another thing to note, so I'm obviously not a professional welder. I've never been professionally taught how to weld. I'm self-taught, so obviously my welds aren't, you know, perfect, right? So for us guys that don't have perfect welds and you're welding on something like this, if you take your light and you put it underneath, you'll find all your pinholes. So like you see one pinhole there, one pinhole up there, one right there. So I've got like 4 pinholes that I've got to close up, and that's really helpful because basically if we left this like this and then put the truck back together and everything and put that sound deadening on, it would pretty much rot out again, you know, in the future. So definitely don't want that to happen, so I'm not gonna weld those pinholes up right this second. I'm probably gonna take the grinder to the tops of the welds and kind of clean everything up. Not that it really matters because it's gonna be covered, but and then fill those pinholes up, get this sealed up right here, and then basically start on this panel. So this welding all this stuff in is very, very time consuming, but one downside was I ran out of wire in the middle of welding, and then the wire that I had to put in was different than the wire I was already welding with, so I had to like completely change up the setting on the welder. So like some of the welds look great, some of the welds look like crap, but I'm just glad it's on a panel that isn't visible. So all that matters is if this is structurally and, you know, like done the proper way. That's all that matters on this. So I'm just glad that this all sealed up. I'm honestly really happy with how this turned out. So just got to get this little gap filled, and then like I said, start on that up there. We're gonna jump right back into all this tomorrow. So, and it's the next day, so we are about to start filling these holes in on the cab. I know we kind of just jumped from that. I need to pick up more steel for that side, so we have enough steel to start on these. Plus I want to kind of start doing these early on so that I know how it's going to go, and I have plenty of time to fix it if I mess it up, because I've never done anything like this. So basically my understanding is I'm going to tack weld a plate behind this, right behind this hole. I'm going to tack weld a plate and then basically take the welder and just fill in this hole completely from outside of here, and then obviously grind it down, make it nice and smooth, and then we'll have to put a skim layer of Bondo over it, obviously, to make it 100% smooth, and then we'll have to do that with all 3 of these. So that's my understanding of it. I guess I don't know of any other way to do it, but that's the way we're gonna try it. So we're gonna kind of grind this around here real quick to get it ready for some welds, clean up the inside, cut some small plates out, tack those in behind there, and start filling it in. Okay, so we got the holes cleaned up out here, cleaned up inside of here. Obviously we're not going to weld gigantic plates in here. We'll probably try to make them as small as possible and then just put tack welds on them. All the green stuff is the glue they use to glue the carpet onto the walls. But yeah, so we're gonna kind of cut some small pieces out and tack them in here and start doing our work out here. Okay, so just for comparison, I haven't finished the last one yet. The welds are there, but I haven't grinded it down. So this is what they look like after. Obviously this is kind of my own fault, but I'm using this big grinder, and technically you shouldn't use this because basically you can't really... Okay, so as I was saying before the camera died, I was showing you guys that I filled the cap holes in. The main issue that I ran into was I don't have a 90-degree grinder that has just like a small flappy wheel on it. I'm using a bigger grinder. I'll show you real quick. So the issue with this, using one of these, I need to buy the smaller one, but I'm just not very smart. So the issue with using these is you can't really go flat, so you tend to angle it, right? And by doing that, you put like a small divot in the body panel. So obviously you'll want to try and use a flat wheel. Basically, when I skim coat this with Bondo, well, I have to do like a straight base Bondo, and then I'll do the skim coat last. That'll kind of be like the finishing Bondo over this. So it'll like level it out and everything. Then I'll take a flat sanding block to it and, you know, take care of all the high spots and stuff. But to avoid having to do all that work, the best way to kind of grind this down would be to use a actual flat 90-degree grinder. But these are all filled in now, and we started finishing up the floor panel over here, and we did run into some more issues, which is super frustrating, but I guess I can't really complain too much because I should have known this. But I was kind of peeling up. This was originally seam sealer all down inside here, and if you remember, I said like earlier on that it was kind of like it looked crappy, so I started scraping it all up, and as I'm scraping it up, I poked a hole straight through here. So this is rusty just in this section. The rest is all good metal all the way through. I don't know about up here, I'll have to still check that, but this seam right here is rusty, and it kind of cracked right along here. I know it's hard to tell. So basically what I'm thinking about doing is just cutting this right here, and then cutting this and cutting this right here, and then just trying to bend a new piece to put in here, and then weld a new flat piece right here as well, and kind of patch that up. And then we have to still bring a piece over here a little bit to fix that up. So, and then we have a small hole right here as well, which I think we can just kind of fill that up with a weld. But nothing's too serious, I guess. Hypothetically, this hole's like not a major issue because it just goes down into the rocker. But say water got in here and then the water got down the rocker, then we'd even have bigger problems. So I'm just gonna take care of it while we're here. It sucks, it really does, because that's gonna probably be another 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of work. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but I'm gonna have to cut that whole piece out right there and then kind of arch a piece down, and it's just gonna be a pain. It probably won't take that long. I'm just, you know, kind of giving myself a little wiggle room on time. But yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and try and cut this, and then like I said, cut that stuff real quick and see where we get. We did go through, I showed you guys that light trick. We did go through and weld all of our holes that we've seen, our pinholes. These welds aren't meant to look good, especially since I went through and tacked all the pinholes up, so they look like crap. I'm not gonna lie, but they are effective. And then on the underside, we're gonna seam seal all those seams and so that'll close that up pretty much airtight. And then up here, you know, like I said, we're gonna hit this with a grinder, and then bed line this. We'll probably primer this, the fresh metal panels, and then obviously bed line the whole inside. So yeah, we're gonna start on that, and I'll catch up with you guys. Okay guys, so we are wrapping it up this evening. Still gonna finish up this video tomorrow. So basically I already showed you guys that we finished up this panel, and basically we went ahead and cut this out right here. So we just got to add a piece in here and add a piece in here, and then add a little piece in here, and then start on the next panel up there. So got all that done, and then after that we kind of just cleaned up the shop some, and you know, got the hard body out there warming up, because we are going to a Two Wheels and Tuners car show / meet in the morning, and then we're going to come straight up here and start working on this thing. Hopefully we can get both the floor panels done in this, so that way we can move on to probably the bed and start getting that done. But we'll see what happens, I guess. But see you guys in the morning. All right guys, that's going to wrap up this video. In the next video, you know, we'll patch that upper panel up there. I know I said we'd be doing that in this video, but kind of, I feel like there's too much in one video. There's gonna be a lot of time lapses and stuff of welding this stuff in. So yeah, that'll be it for this video guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.
Y'all know the recipe, I'm so saucy. They still trying to figure out how to put them in a coffin. They want the ingredients, loving my flavor. Swimming in the money, now I turned into a sailor. Y'all know the recipe, I'm so saucy. They still trying to figure out how to put